Hello everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Drops. So this is the first sort of sit-down style video on this channel. I'm doing it on the same set as I do for my Beyond the Stats NFL podcast channel, which you should all go check out. But today, it's not a Beyond the Stats video, even though we got the setup. And you know what I just realized? These jerseys are it's like descending lengths. Like these are both adult smalls. These are Youth XLs that are Mitchell and Ness brand, and this is a Youth XL Nike brand. So they get smaller and smaller. It's so weird. I don't know why that is, but apparently it's there. I just did it because the numbers increase in value that are showing. But regardless, today we are going to be counting down my top 25, 25 favorite roller coasters. And as I said in my last video, if you watched it, it was my first vlog, my first trip to Busch Gardens, rode all of the major roller coasters there. I do not place a huge emphasis on coaster credits, so I only have, I think, 42. The parks that I have been to get those 42, or at least the major parks, the parks that have roller coasters on this list are going to be Busch Gardens, Universal Islands of Adventure, Carowinds, SeaWorld Orlando, Valley Fair in Minnesota, Disney's Magic Kingdom, Nickelodeon Universe at Mall of America, Disney's Animal Kingdom, Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I think that's it. Yep, those are the parks that I've been to that will have a roller coaster on this list. The rest of the parks that I've been to, for example, Disney's Epcot, I've been there, but when I was there, Guardians of the Galaxy was not open, so I didn't ride that, and so that one doesn't have any roller coasters on this list. Yeah, those are the parks we'll be talking about for this video. I might do a park rankings video later once I've been to a few more parks, but we'll see what happens. But for now, this is just about roller coasters. We're going to rank the top 25. And I'm going to start off with a list of coasters that will not be on this list for various reasons. Either I just don't like them, and so they're probably just low on the list. If I rode a coaster and it didn't make this list, it's probably just because it's not very good, honestly. I haven't ridden that many coasters that a good coaster would not show up in the top 25. So some notable ones that are missing are Flying Cobras at Carowinds, the Vekoma, what's it called? The Boomerang. That's the only one of those I've ridden. Not on the list. That one's actually number 26, so that one was close, but no cigar. Vortex at Carowinds as well. I did not like Vortex. It was super uncomfortable for me. Do not like it. Corkscrew at Valley Fair is another one that I don't like. Yeah, I remember when it used to be one of my favorite roller coasters. It was the first looping coaster I ever went on, and I loved it at the time. But I think for whatever reason, the restraints feel like they've gotten smaller, or just I've grown. But I don't fit into the car anymore, and it's super uncomfortable, and my head bangs, and it's not great. And then finally, the last major roller coaster that will not be appearing here is High Roller at Valley Fair, which I have only ridden once, and I will never ride again because when I rode it, there was this awful screeching noise the entire time, and I went basically deaf afterwards. I don't know if it's still there. I should probably go back and ride it again, but I've never bothered to because it was super forceless and boring as well. So yeah, those are the ones I haven't ridden. Also, or the ones that won't be on this list. Also, I haven't ridden the following major coasters at the parks, so therefore they won't be on this list. Cheetah Hunt, as you saw in the last video, it was closed. Then Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando, wasn't able to ride that. Hagrid's at Universal, unfortunately. I would have really liked to ride that, but I didn't realize that the wait is always 70 minutes, so I kept waiting for the wait to go down to 30, 40, but it never does. It's always 60 or 70. So unfortunately was not able to ride that. I think I rode every major one at Carowinds, and then obviously stuff that wasn't there when I went to Disney, like Tron Light Cycle Run and Guardians of the Galaxy. They will also not be on here. So those are the coasters that will be omitted. And now we've got my top 25 favorite roller coasters at these parks. So we'll take out the trusty whiteboard just like we do on Beyond the Stats. Go check it out. Number 25, I have Carolina Cyclone at Carowinds. Honestly, maybe it's not the best idea to use this whiteboard because it takes a long time to write, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Don't care. Carolina Cyclone it's made by Aerodynamics, which is one of the oldest coaster manufacturers. They're bankrupt now, I believe, but They also made the Corkscrew and Corkscrew remakes, but I prefer this one to Corkscrew a lot, actually, because it felt a lot smoother. I actually fit in their strengths, and like the corkscrews weren't like super uncomfortable with a lot of headbanging. Like overall, it was a pretty decent ride. The loops weren't as great. There was a little bit of headbanging on the loops, but like the actual corkscrew part was pretty fun. So for that, it gets a placement there. I only rode it once, unfortunately, so there is that. I don't know when I'll be able to go back to Carowinds, but because I don't live anywhere near there. But when I do, I'll probably make a video on it, and we'll see how I will think of it then, and we'll see if it has changed at all. Number 24, we have Excalibur at Valley Fair. That is an R, trust. Yeah, Excalibur at Valley Fair. This is actually another aerodynamics coaster. I think it's one of the older like big thrill coasters at the park, and it's stuck way at the back of the park. I didn't even like ride it until like my third or fourth visit to the park. But yeah, Excalibur, not the top roller coaster there. Honestly, I hope it get, like, imagine if it got like RMC'd. That would be amazing. I would be over the moon. But they would never do that to a park like Valley Fair. It's too unimportant, and it's closed for half the year because like we got blizzards outside here. Either way, Excalibur, yeah, it's about 100 feet tall. My biggest complaint with it is that it's like really short in terms of like ride experience. Like it's not long at all. Like all the other rides are like noticeably longer. Even Corkscrew, I think, is probably longer than it, and Corkscrew is really short at Valley Fair. I don't know how it measures up to like things in other parks because it's hard to like weigh those, but either way, Excalibur, I think it's an okay ride. It's fun enough. It's just a basic coaster, and since it's aerodynamics, it is there's a little bit of rattle, but there's some nice airtime there. One other thing I'd like to mention is there's kind of like three aspects of I guess four, but like three main aspects of roller coasters that I feel like people look for, and I feel like most people will prioritize one and then have one as a second priority and then have one as their third. And those are airtime, speed, and G-forces. Inversions kind of also are in that category, but inversions can provide like any of those, so I wouldn't really count it. Like you don't see people going out of their way to ride coasters with a lot of inversions. You see people go out of their way to ride the tallest coasters, which will also have probably the most speed, or you see people go out of their way to ride ones with a lot of airtime. So I think for me, I value speed the most, or at least a sense of speed. And then airtime the second most, and I'm not really a fan of G-forces. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, if I ever go to King's Dominion, I don't even know if I want to ride I-305. Like, that roller coaster is known for making people black out, and I'm good, honestly. Like, I don't need to black out. But I love tall roller coasters. I love the B&M Hypers, a lot of airtime, lots of speed. Like, those are my top two. I'm not just really a big fan of G-forces. So now, hopefully that makes a little bit more sense for where I'm coming from with these rides. Next, number 23, we have the first one that I have taken like a video of in this channel so far, that being Cobra's Curse at Busch Gardens. I don't even know if there's a point in writing this because like my handwriting is illegible. That's the thing with moving to all electronic assignments. You never have to handwrite, and it's fantastic. I hate handwriting, but sometimes you got to do it. Cobra's Curse is number 23. I think it actually might be... no, I don't think it's my highest family coaster. It's the second highest family coaster I've got on the list. And yeah, it's good. It's okay. I like the spinning car gimmick. It's a decently long ride experience as well. Like, there's 3 distinct parts. But something else that's long is the line. Like, all the time. I feel like if I ever go back there, I need to do it, like, first overall, not only because, like, I kind of need a warm-up to, like, get in the groove of things, but also because if I wait to do it, I'm not doing it, because it's going to have, like, a 60-minute wait. It's ridiculous. Like, it even has a longer wait than Iron Gwazi, usually, which is crazy to me. Like, Iron Gwazi's, like, top 10 roller coaster in the world, probably. And you have, like, Cobra's Curse that has a longer line. Like, I get it. Families, like, family coasters have more of an appeal because they're for families. Like, more people are gonna want to ride them. But, like, come on, bro, it's Iron Gwazi. Number 22, also from Busch Gardens, we have It's hard to spell when you're like writing. We have Tigris. Now this is the premier launch coaster that kind of swings and has a lot of clones in other places. I was okay with it. It was fine. I should have probably mentioned this before. I've ridden Excalibur twice. I've ridden Cobra's Curse twice because I actually returned to it like a couple days later. I returned to Busch Gardens, and I actually got some more rides on Iron Gwazi. But you'll hear about those in a second. And then Tigris, I rode 3 times, all of them being the video that I posted that day. But Tigris was fine. Like, I wouldn't say the restraints were as bad as people say they are. Like, people talk a lot about the restraints, like the comfort collars. They're really hard to buckle, but they're mostly just weird. I wouldn't say they're specifically uncomfortable. The inversion up top was kind of whatever. Like, a lot of people freak out over like the slow inversions. Like, there's one at the very start of Copperhead Strike at Carowinds. Like, there's a roll like right out of the station. I've never really gotten like there's no speed, and again, speed is like what I look for in the roller coaster usually. Like, if I'm gonna have like those sort of inversions, I want a sense of speed like while doing it. Tigris, it's fast. I like launch coasters, and I think I've liked launch coasters for a while just because like I used to be really afraid of heights while still being a roller coaster fan, so that's why I preferred a lot of launch coasters. But either way, Tigris is still tall, but it's fun. I don't think it actually. Oh yeah, it just has the one inversion. It doesn't actually go upside down. It has like a non-inverting loop, so that's interesting. But either way, it is still probably one of the park's weaker rides. But Busch Gardens is still such a solid park in general. Like a lot of great rides. Next, number 21. Oh, this is a long one to spell. This is gonna take a while. Expedition Everest. The point of the I might have gone into the O, but we don't care. Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom. I think this is the most recent Disney park I've been to. So most recent Disney roller coaster I was on. I've been to all 4 Disney parks, but like across a very spread out set of time. Now, as a park, I actually think Animal Kingdom might be my favorite. Obviously, I haven't been since Guardians of the Galaxy is there, because that could very well change it. It almost certainly will change that. But I liked Animal Kingdom a lot because, like, it's not only got a pretty solid roller coaster in Expedition Everest, but it also has what I think is probably the best non-roller coaster ride that I've ever been on, that being the Avatar Flight of Passage. I hear a lot of people saying that ride is mid. I don't get that. It's crazy insane. It's probably, if it was a roller coaster, it would be top 5 on this list. Like, it's one of the coolest rides I've ever been on, and definitely my favorite ride at all of Disney for now, until maybe Guardians of the Galaxy, I get to ride it. But yeah, number 21, Expedition Everest. I should be talking about the actual ride here. I've ridden it twice, rode it twice when I was that day. First roller coaster I rode that went backwards, I believe. The backwards thing is a nice gimmick. One thing that I do find weird is there are no inversions on the ride, but I feel like there was inversion. Like, I remember I had like a little thing in my pocket. I had like a little toy in my pocket when I was there, and I remember it fell out on my first ride through, and I was like, we watched like a POV video of this, and it didn't say there was inversions. I was like, ah. Now this was when I was like 11. I wasn't really a roller coaster. Or was I even like 9? I think I was more like 9. But like I wasn't really a roller coaster like enthusiast to that point. But like, I don't know. I was annoyed that there was an inversion that I did not think there would be. Next, number 20, getting into the top 20 roller coasters, we have, why can this marker not right? We have SheiKra at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Another ride that I rode 3 times, all in the day that I recorded that video, the first video on this channel, the Busch Gardens vlog. And you know what? I've never really liked the concept of a dive coaster, because before I was like deathly afraid of heights, but it's fine. I get it. It's entertaining with the 90-degree drop and everything, and you hanging up there, but like the ride is so short. Like there's not much to it other than that. And the fact that it only has 1 inversion is kind of lame. I feel like if I go on another dive coaster soon, that will probably usurp this, like be higher than it in rankings. I could definitely see this being a coaster that like or a coaster design that places higher. I could maybe even see a dive coaster getting into like top 15 or maybe even top 10, but not this one. I think this one's just too short and kind of boring for me. But like as a ride, it's serviceable. So, and even especially at Busch Gardens, like the fact that it is my 4th ranked ride at Busch Gardens is crazy. Like Busch Gardens is amazing. And there are a lot of parks like that. Like the top 4 at Carowinds are all above this, but like Busch Gardens is like everything is so solid. Like there is not a bad ride at Busch Gardens. Like at least Carowinds has like Vortex. Next, number 19, we have another Disney roller coaster. I'm not writing out the full title, but Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith is the full title of that one, but I'm just writing that. Yeah, that was my first launched coaster. And actually, you know what? I think that was my favorite one, my first one with a loop. Yeah, that was the first one that had a loop on it. And my dad was like, you should go on this roller coaster. It's so great. And this was before I even had gone like to Animal Kingdom. So before Expedition Everest, I was like 8 or something. Went on that. And my dad was like, oh, it's fun. And then I got to the front of the line and I saw people getting launched. And I was like, oh, that seems fun. But then I got launched. And it was not fun when I got launched. Like, we bought the picture, like the off-ride picture of my first time on Expedition Everest. My face was like, I was like terrified. It was crazy. And yeah, I mean, but then after the ride was over, I enjoyed it enough to go again. I do remember there being a little bit of headbanging, or maybe that was just like me like tensing up. But from the limited bits that I can remember of this ride, because I've ridden it only twice at that park visit when I was like 8, it was cool. And I like the loops. I like the fact that it's like a dark ride section, but you can still like see stuff going on. I've obviously watched like POV videos of it since then, so I know like what happens in the ride. But yeah, Rock and Roller Coaster, probably one of the more thrilling ones I was on back when I was young and not a coaster enthusiast, but still good. Next, number 18. I'm drawing the numbers really far apart. Weird. This is another one where I'm not going to write out the full title. SpongeBob SquarePants Rock Bottom Plunge at, what's it called? Nickelodeon Universe Mall of America. This one is probably the closest one to my house. It's still not super close to my house. It's still kind of a hike to get there, but largest indoor mall in America. Is it still the largest indoor mall in the world? I know it's like the largest indoor mall in the U.S., but I don't know about the world anymore. I don't know if somebody's finally beaten it, but got a whole theme park in there, so that's nice. Not any amazing rides, mostly like chiller kids rides, but this one is pretty thrilling. It's got, I think, like a 70-foot drop, and it's past vertical because it's Gerstlauer. It's one of only 2 like Gerstlauer roller coasters I've ridden. I have only ridden it once, and that was like a pretty long time ago. It was one of the more thrilling rides I had ridden at the time. I think it was even before I had gone to Valley Fair for the first time. No, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting because I remember having fun after the first drop because this was still in my afraid of heights phase. But yeah, the first drop I was like super stressed. I was like, ah! But now, like, I kind of want to ride it again because I've heard it's super rough, and I don't know if I could really tell what was rough and what wasn't back then. So based on my experience, like, post-drop, I liked it. But I kind of want to return because I feel like this could be one that could fall in the rankings, I want to say, potentially. I don't know, we'll see. Next, number 17. Fine, we'll put this at 17. I was debating whether to switch this last second, but I think this one can go at 17. We have Wild Thing, the closest hyper coaster to my house. The one that I've ridden the most times. I've ridden it 4 times. No, that's not true. It's not the one that I've ridden the most times because Iron Gwazi has surpassed it. So it's the hyper coaster I've ridden the second most times. Ridden it 4 times, and you know what? It's a Morgan hyper, I believe. So, and they don't have a ton of like rides. They don't have like a super expansive catalog, but I think this is one of their like milder ones. People call it Mild Thing as a joke, but it's kind of true. like the drop is only 60 degrees, and when you're up there, it's tall, it's nice. You still do get that sense of speed, you still do get like good velocity, but ultimately like height matters more for speed than like angle of drop. But angle of drop matters more for like the actual intensity and like funness and feeling of speed of the ride. Like that's what I really care about. Like I don't care about the actual like how many miles an hour you're going. Like I care about the feeling of speed. And this one just doesn't really have it after the first drop. Like there's some good airtime and some good like sprawling elements. You go across the whole park. It's nice to see it like that, but especially after the brake run, it's super trimmed out and it's not the best. It is still a hyper, so it's got to be at least a certain level good. But I don't know. It's just not my favorite. I wish we had a better roller coaster than that was like a hyper in Minnesota. I will say the fact that it's the tallest one in the park and the fact that you can like go right up close to it like makes it look a lot more taller. A lot taller than just 200 feet. Like because you can stand like right under the main drop. And that's something you can't really do with like Iron Gwazi, because Iron Gwazi is like secluded off. It doesn't look really as tall as it is. Next, we have at number 16, another roller coaster from Valley Fair, that being Steel Venom. This is a clone of, I believe, Wicked Twister was the first one of those, where it's an Intamin like launch coaster. You start and you swing on like a U shape, and then one of the ends has like a twisty bit. But the thing about Steel Venom that I think makes it unique is on the last spike up when you're facing the ground, they have like a 1 second holding break. And that thing is terrifying, bro. I tell you, like, it's crazy. Like you if you see a video of it off ride, it's just like, oh, okay, they're just up there for a little bit more. No, it's so tense when you're just hanging up there for a second and then you get back dropped again. It is fun. This is the last roller coaster that I rode for the first time at Valley Fair. I rode it on like my 4th visit for the first time, so it took me a while to actually like get up the courage to do it, because my first 2 times that I went to Valley Fair were when I was still afraid of heights, and I actually chickened out on Wild Thing on my first ride. I was in line and then I went like through the car, like you know how you like get to the front of the line and then you just people like be scared and then just step through the car and like go out. Like that was me. I did that on my first ever trip to Valley Fair at like 10 years old. And then second trip I went back and did it. And then third trip I did it again or something. And then fourth trip, like just this past summer, I went back with my friend and rode Steel Venom for the first time. Convinced him to as well, even though he was like not wanting to do it, but it was cool. So overall, I think it's one of the better coasters in the park, at least better than Wild Thing. It isn't as tall as Wild Thing, and also like the height can vary depending on like where you are. I prefer the back probably, because then you're not facing directly at the ground when you're like at that holding rig. Like that's a no for me. So yeah, I prefer the back on that ride, but like it's whatever. Next, number 15, we are finally getting into the first roller coaster from SeaWorld Orlando. We have Pipeline, the surf coaster. This one is interesting because the restraints on stand-up coasters, I've only ridden 2 stand-up coasters, this and Vortex, and so far I've not had the best experience with stand-up coasters. Like the restraints on Vortex are bad. I don't like them, and I just wanted the ride to be over as soon as it started. But this one, they were a bit better until the final like helix. The final helix like absolutely crushed me down there. Like for women, it's probably fine, but like for us guys, it's painful, bro. So yeah, I don't know. I think if you're a guy, try to like bend your knees, I think, when you're getting into the harness, and then it'll like adjust itself and it won't like crush you as much. I think that's a tip I heard somewhere. But the thing about Pipeline is it's not like a lift hill coaster. It has a launch, and the launch while you're standing up is really cool. I also like the inversion that it does have. It's like a really nice, like slow, like hang timey inversion. And you can also like jump while you're on the coaster kind of if you bend your knees. I only rode it twice, but I think I was able to get an accurate assessment of how it was. I was at SeaWorld Orlando on like a really busy like weekend day with like a huge group of people. So like I didn't get a lot of opportunities to ride a lot of stuff many times, but was able to get 2 rides on that, especially since it's like in the back of the park. It's not as like front and center as like Manta or Mako. But yeah, Pipeline. I almost call it Riptide. I always keep calling it Riptide for some reason. Like that's what I associated it with, and now I can't get that association out of my head. But it's okay. It's a fun coaster. Number 14, we have the highest family coaster on my list, and this one's probably only here just because of like childhood nostalgia, and I did it the wrong way. We have Space Mountain. This is the one at Magic Kingdom in Orlando, not the one in California. I've never been to California, but I've been to Orlando. I've been to Magic Kingdom. I think I've been on both sides because there's an alpha side and an omega side. I think I went on both sides. I've ridden it twice, like once on each. I think it was once on each side, but I know I've ridden, like I've experienced the coaster twice. I think you would consider this a family coaster, I guess, because it's not very fast, and like there's not any inversions or anything, and like past me, this was my favorite coaster at some point, like before I became an enthusiast and really started riding a lot of crazy coasters. That was my favorite, and honestly, the nostalgia for that is kind of carrying it a little bit. It's probably not as good of a ride just in general as like Steel Venom, Wild Thing, Pipeline again, dang nabbit. But I enjoyed it. The aesthetics are cool, the effects are amazing, and that can add to a ride experience, especially if it's like on the ride. That's why I think I have high hopes for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, even though it's not necessarily as thrilling as a lot of the other coasters in my top 5. But I do hope it will place near the top 5 at least when I eventually ride it. I think it's honestly, that ride is just the upped version of Space Mountain, so I'm excited. Number 13, I think this is where we get into the roller coasters that I would say are truly great. I think if you're trying to like actually accurately rate roller coasters, like from 1 to 10, you're not gonna rate like everything a 10. You're not gonna like, if you're actually trying to put them in like averages based on where they are, I think these would be like the 8 out of 10s or above. So number 13, we have another one at SeaWorld Orlando, and that's Manta. This is the first thing I rode at SeaWorld Orlando. So I was like really stressed, and you know how it is. The first ride of the day is always the scariest for me. I kind of need a warm up. So I probably should have done like Pipeline or Icebreaker first, but did Manta first. Flying coaster, the only one I've been on. It was fun. It was also the first B&M coaster I was ever on. Rode it twice in the day. Both times the line was super long, but it was cool. The only reason I have Manta like lower than a lot of other ones at that park is because of the pretzel loop. And now, as I said before, I am not a fan of G-forces. I'm all about the speed and the airtime. Inverted coasters and flying coasters, just in general, they don't give a lot of airtime, but the feeling of flying, the feeling of like not having a car to be in, is almost as good as airtime for me. So I can give it a break on that. It does have a decent amount of speed, so I'll give it that, but like I just simply don't like the pretzel loop. I don't know what it is. Just like it made me gray out, and like it was not fun. The feeling of speed was nice. It was just the part that I can't remember what happened for like 5 seconds after it. That's what really kills me. Like I have no idea what happens in like the 5 seconds after the pretzel loop because I was still like regaining my consciousness or whatever. And then yeah, that's about all I have to say about Manta. The part after the pretzel loop, like after the brake run, I remember that, where you like skim across the water. Like that part's cool. Yeah, hopefully I can go back there, give it another ride, see if I've warmed up to the G-forces a little, because I rode that like kind of at the beginning of my like starting to become a roller coaster enthusiast. Number 12, we have Thunder Striker at Carowinds. Again, these R's, they're like identical, and they're both weird. Yeah, Thunder Striker used to be called Intimidator. I understand why they changed it though, because like there's already an Intimidator 305, but then again they changed that one too, so I don't know. This one is the second tallest coaster I've been on, actually. It's 232 feet, I want to say. It's a hyper and more, like 32 feet plus. It's got good airtime, but the one main real bad thing about it is the trim brake and how it absolutely kills the momentum, or like the mid-course brake run. Like it's just not going fast anymore. And speed is the thing I care about the most. So Thunder Striker is gonna only be number 12 on the list. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a B&M Hyper. They're not too different from each other in many ways. It's still got good airtime on a lot of the hills, and the first drop is always fantastic. But, I don't know. Just don't like the part after the trim brake. Number 11 is a coaster that a lot of people would rank a lot higher than this, but I found them very similar. Because they are both B&M Hypers, we got Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. This one, I only rode it once, actually, but I do remember, like, the drop was cool. The airtime moments were fantastic. The one airtime moment where you are like flying for like 5 seconds, that one just basically felt like the first drop again. Like that was honestly a great moment, and I want to go back there and experience that again. But honestly, it has sort of the same problem. Like, the post brake run thing is kind of just like little airtime hills, and I don't really care about like the tiny little bunny hops. Like, they can be fun, but if you're not going over them with a lot of speed, I don't think it really matters to me. Yeah, I think this is one coaster that I think most people would rank higher, but I don't think I care too much about those coasters that are just like pure airtime. Like, I want like sense of speed mixed in there, and there's not a lot of like low to the ground, like, or just like places where you can enjoy the speed that you can get from a 200-foot coaster. It's kind of just airtime. So that's why I have it at 11. Number 10, just cracking the top 10, is one of the coasters from Busch Gardens Tampa. We have Kumba. I was able to get 6 rides on it, all in that one day. This is the coaster I rode the most on that day that I recorded. And the biggest complaint with this one is the head banging. It kind of did do the thing where the restraint bangs against your head, which I was not happy about. It wasn't the smoothest thing ever, even though like it had been like re-smoothened in like quickly, or like right before I had come to the park, like 2 months after, or 2 months before. But, I still like the B&M loopers because they still build up a lot of speed, and inversions are fun. They're a great way to like make it intense. Like, they're a fun way to get G's, and you can get a lot of positive G's and negative G's from them. Like the Hell Roll, the third inversion, I think that's the one that they call the Hell Roll. But like, yeah, the third inversion is crazy. That one has a lot of like, you're thrown out of your seat, especially if you're on the right side of the train. Like, I rode it in the right side on the back, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Really liked it, but I don't know. Just the Cobra Roll had a lot of head banging, so that was unfortunate. And then the Helix at the end was kind of like, positive G's. It didn't like make me gray out or anything, but it was just like, I don't really care for these giant helixes. So yeah, Kumba, it's an okay ride. I would definitely ride it again as many times as I would want to, but it's not like one of my top favorite ones. Next, number 9, we've got Copperhead Strike at Carowinds. I believe this is the highest mock rides coaster that I have. Yep, seems to be. One of the only ones I've ridden. And the thing with Copperhead Strike is it's a launch coaster, so that's always fun, but it just doesn't have a lot of speed. The inversions are cool, and there's a lot of good hang time, and I do like the theming of it as well. Like, that adds some stuff. But like, overall, like, it's not a top 5 coaster. Like, I would definitely say it's a great coaster. If we're going back to that like 1 to 10 ranking, I think this is an 8.5. I think this is where we get to start getting into the 8.5s. Maybe even Kumba would. Actually, I think Mako qualifies an 8.5 at least. But yeah, Copperhead Strike, it's a great roller coaster. I rode it 3 times. I I just don't feel like it has quite the push to be in that upper echelon. So that's where it's going to stay. There was, and I don't think there's really a standout element on it is another thing. Like there's not one like specific moment that I remember from the ride and I was like, yo, that was good. So because of that, I'm only putting it at number 9, but it was good enough, even though Kumba did have that standout element, it was good enough to get above Kumba. So there's that. Number 8, I have Afterburn, also at Carowinds. These two are very similarly ranked for me. I also rode this one 3 times. This one does have more of an intensity, but both of the B&M inverts I've ridden are kind of like renowned for their intensity. And yeah, this one, I do remember some standout moments from this one. There's some really nice, like whippy, like rolls that you do in Afterburn. And honestly, the only reason why it's number 8 and not number 7 is because number 7, which is Montu at Busch Gardens Stampa, is just like a bigger version of it. So yeah, those two are both very similar. They're both B&M inverts. I like them both a lot. They're just really solid coasters. Again, I think I'd put them at the 8.5 range. And I guess not much else to say, really. I mean, it's a B&M invert. It's always going to be great. Number 6, we've got the best roller coaster at my home park, that being Renegade at Valley Fair. This is also the top wooden coaster on my list. It is made by GCI, I believe, Great Coasters International, and it is less than 100 feet tall, but it packs the punch. It's got that thing that I talked about, like the sensation of speed, even though it's not as fast as Wild Thing. It's got like, it feels like the fastest coaster in the park. So for that, I gotta rank it like up high. And just because it's the easiest like upper echelon coaster for me to go and ride, there is that. Yeah, Renegade, it's solid. For just like a regular less than 100 foot tall wooden coaster, you probably wouldn't think it would be this high, but like you gotta ride it. It feels kind of out of control, and because it's wooden, my only real complaint is that it is a little shaky sometimes. But like even when you're going, like you maintain your speed well throughout like the whole ride, which is great. And again, yeah, the speed is what I like to see. So Renegade's my number 6. And I also really love the first drop because it's like you twist down into the drop, and I think that's really cool, and it like throws you out of your seat kind of. Now, moving into my top 5 roller coasters that I have ever ridden. Number 5, we have the top ride at SeaWorld Orlando for me, and that's Kraken. Now, this might be a hot take. I really enjoyed Kraken. I only was able to get one ride because the lines were absurdly long, but I loved Kraken. Kraken was the first like B&M regular looper I rode, and I think just that style of ride is what I prefer in a ride. That one also had a similar like style roll to Kumba, where it's like a corkscrew with a lot of like whip, and that inversion is really good. I liked it a lot. I don't know if it has a specific name, but the Hell Roll too. I don't know. But yeah, it starts off with a loop, and then you go into like a Cobra Roll, I think. But it's also got 7 inversions. It's got a pretty long, lengthy layout. It is very similar to Kumba, like layout-wise, but I don't remember, or at least in my ride, I don't remember any headbanging, and it seemed a lot smoother. So for that, I got to place it above there. I think if Kumba didn't have the headbanging and was smoother and a little bit like, it didn't have the helix at the end, rather had like some more moments to enjoy the speed, and rather than just like G-forces, I think Kumba would be up here with Kraken, but Kraken does it better in my opinion, so there you go. Next, at number 4, we have another B&M coaster, but this one is up here for a sort of different reason. That is the Incredible Hulk ride at Universal Islands of Adventure. I really like this coaster, and I will say this one is a little bit rougher, and there is a little bit of head banging, but like this is probably top 2, maybe even top 1 most like intense feeling coasters I've been on. It has that sense of speed, at least up until the brake run. The brake run kind of slims it off, and everything after that is like whatever. It's still fine, but like yeah, it's whatever. The one thing that I would love to praise about this ride, I think the part that makes this a top 4 ride for me, is the onboard audio. Honestly, the onboard audio on this ride is the best I've ever heard of from any ride. It's super cool. It fits with the ride like perfectly. And while you can't really hear it for at least the beginning, like it really picks up in the second half and it gets super like nice and fitting and intense. And it just feels like, I don't know. It's just like the theming that Universal Orlando can do makes this a better ride for me. Also, the vertical launch with like the immediate zero G roll is one of my favorite elements ever. Like I'm not even gonna lie, that roll is crazy. Super underrated element. I think it's probably in my like top 5 favorite elements. Now we have my top 3, and I think all of these 3 are probably in the top 10 in the world. So I've been very blessed and privileged to be able to ride 3 coasters of this quality, like already, not even being really a super experienced roller coaster enthusiast. But number 3, and the fact that this is number 3 on my list is an absolute travesty. We have the roller coaster in my profile picture, Fury 325. The tallest roller coaster I've been on, the fastest roller coaster I've been on. It's honestly, this one could be number 1. Honestly, it's really a toss-up between a lot of these. But the thing about Fury is it's just so grand, you know? Like, it's my top B&M coaster that I have on this list. 325 feet tall, obviously, 95 miles an hour. And it unlike other tall B&M coasters like this, it does have like the pure speed sections. It does have sections that are specifically dedicated to just enjoying the speed. The second half does have more airtime, which I do like the discrepancy between that. I do like that the first half is all about speed, and then the second half you get some like more airtime. So that's nice. The treble clef turnaround is super cool. You get a lot of airtime from that, and the dive like is just super fun. Just like the way up the lift hill, like I remember on my first ride, it was like I was regretting my decision, bro, because like I had never been on something nearly that tall. And I was like, oh my goodness, am I going to like this? And once I was down that first drop, honestly, that probably is what solidified me as like roller coaster enthusiast for life, bro. Like riding that first Giga coaster, my first Giga coaster and only one so far, like I'm going to like riding these roller coasters for a long time. I hope I don't have to stop when I'm older because of like health complications or anything. That'd be bad. Another thing with Fury is the guy that I sat next to on my first ride, he was like all decked out in like Fury merchandise, and me and my dad actually like found the guy on like Twitter, and apparently he's like a famous dude that like rides Fury 325 specifically like a lot, and he was like trying to ride it like 3,000 times in a year. And I was like, okay, sure. I was just sitting next to this celebrity dude. I remember on the way up, I turned to him and I was like, I've never been on a Giga before. Is it good? And he was like, it's the best. And I was like, okay, well. And it did not disappoint. I honestly don't know if there's going to be like a Giga coaster that can top this. Unless like, I don't know. Honestly, probably not. I can't think of one. Maybe like Top Thrill 2 might dethrone it. That's not really a Giga, but like I feel like if I enjoy the Top Thrill 2, Top Thrill 2 is one that could be number 1 or it could be like number 15 or something. I don't really know because it's short. But once I get to Cedar Point, we'll really see. I really want to go to Cedar Point. We'll see. But yeah, Fury 325, super fast, super tall, super crazy, lot of great moments, but the one thing is I don't think it necessarily has the feeling of speed as much as our top 2. The top 2 feel fast, even though they're both like in the 70s as far as miles per hour, whereas Fury's in the 90s. But like, I don't know. Fury's just good. It's hard to put these 2 above them, but ultimately these 2 have to be above them. And honestly, these 2 might be the top 2 for eternity. Like, these are super good. I don't know how a coaster is going to knock these 2 off. And what would be even more impressive is if a coaster managed to like split them. Like I think these 2, and a lot of people have kind of debated on which of the 2 of these is better because they're both in the same state. They're both in Florida, and people just have a lot of differing opinions about the 2. But ultimately, my number 2 coaster has got to be Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. The first and only RMC I've been on so far, and it did not disappoint. 206 feet, 91 degree drop, and it's got that sense of speed down to a T. Non-stop elements from first to last. It's really seamless. Everything seems super fast. You blaze through that layout. You hit the brake run with a full head of steam, and yeah, the drop is crazy. And the biggest thing with Iron Gwazi is I was able to really experience the ride because I came back 2 days after the video that I shot, and there were no lines because it was like a random Tuesday. So I was actually able to get an additional 8 rides on Iron Gwazi all across the train. So I know this roller coaster. This is now the one on this list that I've ridden the most. And so I know this coaster pretty well now. So I'm pretty confident in like the placement here at number 2 above all these others, above Fury 325 even, but not quite above the number 1. I think every element like is great. The wave turn is absolutely phenomenal. It just throws you out of your seat. Insane ejector, like sustained ejector airtime. You're ejected from your seat and you stay there, which is crazy. The barrel roll is great, but it is not my favorite element on the ride. I prefer the wave turn. I think the death roll is kind of overrated. I'm not even gonna lie. Like you do get the good airtime like from spinning down, but an element looks cool just like to go down it and to watch it, but I prefer the wave turn personally. The drop itself is great as well. I mean, it feels like you're going straight down at the earth, and you got all that speed going into it, and again you maintain that speed the whole time. I will say my biggest complaint is I don't really like the restraints. I don't like just the single lap bar and like the seat as a whole, because the seat is kind of small and the lap bar, like they always staple you for some reason, or at least all the ride-ups when I was there, they always stapled me, which was unfortunate. And like it was hard to get much of the airtime. And I remember on the double down right before the end, I was kind of violent ejector airtime, and it kind of was painful, I'm not gonna lie. Like this ride's got some great stuff, and it has like if you like the restraints and if you think the death roll is a top 3 like element of all time, I think this is the number 1. Like it's that close between this and the number 1. But ultimately, I have to go with my heart and put the number 1 at number 1. And then one final thing about Iron Gwazi before we move on is the fact that it kind of lacks theming, especially since a Gwazi is like a lion and tiger, and the roller coaster is like, at least the car is like crocodile themed, and also it's like purple, which doesn't have anything to do with either lions, tigers, or crocodiles. So there's that. But number 1 is perhaps the best themed roller coaster on the planet, and that, of course, is Velocicoaster at Universal Islands of Adventure. Velocicoaster is my favorite roller coaster, and it might be the most well-balanced and perfect roller coaster there is. It has the sense of speed that I need from a ride. I don't care if it's 6 miles an hour slower than Iron Gwazi. It feels just as fast, if not faster. Everything integrates greatly. People say that the first half is mid, and my response to that is the first half is themed, and theming by itself does not make a ride better. Great theming does make a ride better. So like, for example, the Hulk ride, the song, if it didn't have the song, it would not be anywhere near number 4. It'd be below Kraken. It would be probably more like 8 or 9 probably. But the fact that it has that music ups the experience so much. And like purely in terms of ride, it would still definitely be very close, but I think purely in terms of the ride, if they're just like, if you're in a white void with nothing but Velocicoaster and nothing but Iron Gwazi, I think Iron Gwazi wins. But the experience of Velocicoaster, and I'm not even talking about the line, because I don't care about the line. People fawn over the, like, oh, it has such a good queue line and everything. I don't care about the line. I'm there for the ride. Like, and just the ride in general on Velocicoaster, absolutely amazing. Love it so much. The fact that it's a launch coaster as well, I love launch coasters. Like the first half, it is duller than the second half, obviously. It's less grand, but it's still cool. I like the Raptors, like the way that they use those as decoration. And also, when I was a kid, I was like really obsessed with dinosaurs. So like maybe that is contributing to a part of it. But that second launch has got to be my favorite element on any ride. And I know what's coming up next. I know that there's the Mosasaurus roll at the end, but I don't care. That second launch into the top hat and then down the top hat is so sick. Like, that might be the fastest like feeling moment on any ride. Other than maybe like going down the first drop on Iron Gwazi or Fury, but like, I don't know. I still think it's that launch and top hat. That's crazy. The stall as well on Velocicoaster hits a lot more than Iron Gwazi's. And then of course you have the Mosasaurus roll, which I think like the barrel roll and Mosasaurus roll often get compared. I prefer the Mosasaurus roll every time. That's another top 3 element for me. That's another one of those where you're just out of your seat for like a solid couple seconds, and it's crazy. And the fact that it's right at the end, honestly, most roller coasters have the disadvantage that they all rely on gravity, and that the best moments are usually going to be towards the beginning of the ride. I love when a roller coaster can go out stronger than it started, and Velocicoaster does that like perfectly. It saves the best for last, top 3 element at the end, and top 3 element like in the middle with the launch and drop. So for me, Velocicoaster has to be my number 1 coaster, at least for now. We'll see what can beat it. I'm trying to think of what could possibly beat it, and I don't know. I mean, Steel Vengeance is a lot of people's number 1. I know that is a thing, and that one has got them like the most airtime of any coaster. I said obviously Top Thrill 2, like that's a thing if I ever go to Cedar Point. Alpen Fury is one coaster that I've looked at like POVs of it, and I'm like, that seems like up there with Velocicoaster. So if I ever can get to Canada, I would love to ride that. And then other than that, I don't know if there's much in the in the Americas that can beat that. That can be Velocicoaster. I think overseas you might have a couple options. Like there's some great RMCs over in Europe and Asia. Like I know Zadra in Poland has like a great sense of speed, like almost up there with Iron Gwazi, so maybe that can do it. I don't know. Also Zadra has like a ridiculous stall, and I think stalls are some of my favorite like types of inversions because you're just hanging, you're just out there for like so long. And then also Ijunaika at Fuji-Q Highland in Japan. I would like to go on that because that looks like the most crazy coaster ever. But yeah, I think that's about it for this one. It's gotten a bit long. Sorry for that, but I think it was a fun time. I hope you enjoyed it as well. So yeah, I think that covers my top 25 roller coasters. Next video on this channel, it's hard to predict videos on this channel because like I don't really know when I'll be going to parks very much. I might vlog, I think I will vlog my next trip to Busch Gardens with my friend in January. We're going down there again. I'll probably vlog that, and I'll update you if there's any changes to be made in my like roller coaster rankings during that video, obviously. I also probably want to do a video ranking each of the parks I've been to, and what else do I want to? I want to rank the manufacturers, like based on how good I think they are, because that's a thing that like roller coaster enthusiasts kind of care a lot about. And then I also want to rank the best, like my favorite elements. And I think maybe also parks that I'm excited to go to. I don't know. We'll see. My favorite. Oh, here's another idea I had: is my favorite of each type of element, like my favorite first drop, my favorite airtime hill, my favorite helix, my favorite loop, what have you, like something like that. So maybe those are some videos that you can expect to see on this channel. Yeah, I think other than that, that will pretty much do it for this one. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Remember to leave a like and subscribe to Beyond the Stats, my other channel as well, where you'll see me talk about some NFL stuff. But yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in another video.